Hey all, welcome to Parker's Reefs. On today's episode, we're going to relive the magic that was the grand opening celebration of Apex Aquatics. Alright, thank you for joining me on yet another episode of Parker's Reefs, and as touched on in the intro and also teased in last week's video, last weekend I was at the Apex Aquatic grand opening celebration on both the Saturday and Sunday, primarily to see you, the viewer out there, but also of course grab all the footage from what was a huge weekend at Melbourne's newest and most exciting local fish shop. Now, I will say with a preface that it was incredibly busy on the Saturday and I did not do much filming at all. In fact, I spent most of my time talking with people, shaking hands and just getting in on all of the excitement and all of the purchases that you guys were making to add to your reef tanks out there. But thankfully for me on the Sunday, I did get an opportunity to get some footage and I got to see all of the action take place, and that's what I want to share with you today. So without any further ado, let's roll the footage of Apex Aquatic's grand opening celebration. All right, here we are in the very large but equally very full car park at the brand new painted Apex Aquatic building. You can see Smokin' Barry's is on site providing some deliciously juicy smoked meats. And for those of you who don't know, Apex Aquatic is located in Collingwood in Melbourne, Australia on the very well-known Alexandra parade. Now, heading back in store, you can see the team have gone all out with the balloons set up, spelling out Apex Aquatic, also having some sharks, and of course, having the very fabled balloon archway, which looks a treat and lets everyone that's driving past know that it is a big, important day in store. But we'll head on in store and have a look and see what's happening there, because it's still early in the day, so it's not too busy, and I want to get as much filming done as we can before things get hectic. You can see this massive TV behind the counter there displaying some footage from, pretty sure from Parker's Reef, which looks awesome. And then of course the team has their very famous shark pond here, which now does have 3 sharks in there amongst some of the other beautiful fish. You see that gorgeous angel there just picking away. Very surprised at how clean the sand remains in this system, but I'll grab the DSLR out to have a look. Check out the golden undulated trigger there, nicknamed Mango. He's probably my favorite fish in this system. Very unique coloration. You can see one of the sharks hiding under the rockwork there. There's also one of the eels hiding under the rockwork there. There's another shark over there. In fact, there's another couple of sharks over there. We'll get the camera out in a second when they're getting fed, and you can see that they are a lot more active then. I do have to laugh at the powder blue swimming around in this system because he looks tiny in there despite being a pretty large powder blue, I will say. And I can also say that the unicorn tang there looks a treat. There is also a cleaner wrasse in there, which has got his hands full, but you can see, oh, there's the cleaner wrasse there, and you can see the staff here giving the sharks a little pat and a little bit of food. The golden undulated trigger, here comes one of the sharks now. Beautiful watching them swim around. This little guy perches up with his front fins there, which is cool to see. Look at that king angel. He's jumped out of the water for a second there, and here he comes to say hi to the camera. Look at those front fins just acting like legs. Super cool to see. And this is a real treat for customers that bring their family in and like to just have a little bit more of an interactive experience when they go to the aquarium, which I'm 100% certain that's what this pond is for. Ken tells me it's because he always wanted a shark tank, but I think for the greater good, this is to inspire the younger reefers in our families. And there's that cleaner wrasse who, I gotta say, he's gotta be living his best life, and there's so many massive fish to clean away at, and that golden undulated trigger is just something else. The king angel is probably one of the most active fish in the system. He swims around like he is king, which is always good to see. But you can see they've got some information up on the wall there just to explain some of the key fish in the system. Now, you can see on the counter here, there's a whole heap of giveaways, t-shirts, mugs, all sorts of things, as well as some discounts on the day. 25% off all Red Sea products, and I know a heap of people were stocking up on salt. Also from Aquaforest at 15% off, and here is the sign, the grand opening 1st of March, which is where we are at. Now, just see Hadley from Sydney Reefing up there on my channel showing his tank, which is great to see. And you can see the team even went as far as setting up a ticket system here because they were expecting quite a lot of people, and they were not wrong. Now, coming across here, you can see the staff all getting ready for the day's activities, but I did want to just pop a filter on the camera and showcase another one of the absolute features of the shop, which is this big volcanic style hammer tank, which is just full to the brim with blue tangs. And I can say there are a couple of new fish in this system, which are not just from that initial clutch of baby blue tangs. You see one big blue tang in there. There's also a yellow tang in there, and believe it or not, they still respond when they think that I'm going to feed them. But these extra fish in here, including some clownfish that we'll see in a second, have come from fellow YouTuber, Reef Nerd. Marcus has closed down his tank and donated these fish to Ken here in this display tank. So you can see that gorgeous yellow tang there. The big blue tang in there is just become a full father figure. And then up the top here, you can see the clownfish. He barely sticks his head out of his little hole up here. Just wait for it. He'll pop out in a second. Maybe. He's got that rock work which goes above the water surface. There he is right at the top. He comes out and has a look at the camera and then disappears back into the hammers. He's a little overwhelmed with the number of blue tangs, which is understandable. But look at those hammers. Absolutely out, full, great color. The blue tangs are hysterical the way that they come out of that in the morning. You cannot see a blue tang in the system at all. And then as soon as the lights come on, it is all about the blue tangs. But we must continue on because this system here has had a massive update since I was here last. A full harem of clownfish in here, along with a heap of frosted rose bubble tips. And I did grab the DSLR to showcase this a little bit later in the day when the colors were a bit better, because there is so much happening in here. All of these gorgeous clownfish swimming around, just living their best life. And I got to say, there's nothing quite like seeing a harem of clownfish just swooshing about amongst all of these bubble tips. It's such a sight to see. And I even added a top-down shot just so you can really see what I was seeing there. And these guys are absolutely spoilt for choice. So many different anemones in there. There's some green ones as well, but they've got frosted roses as far as the eye can see, and they are taking full advantage of it, as you would. In fact, look at the colors in there. I've got to say, those frosted rose bubble tips, I know they are fairly common now due to the fact that they reproduce so quickly, but the colors and markings on those are something that you just cannot get on anything else. Look at those red veins of the green center, the white speckle through them, something else. And you add the movement of the clownfish in there, and it's this is one of my favorite tanks, I've got to say, and it's still very new. But we must continue on. There is more display tanks here. This one's the soft coral display, and I've got to say the spider sponge in there is probably the healthiest I've ever seen. It has a great polyp extension. The team are busy cleaning that tank, so I will continue on. And then over here, this system, the lights are just coming on, but there's some beautiful anthias in this system, and a whole heap of frags put in since last time. But we'll come across this way, have a look at this little invert rack. Along here, there is actually a manta shrimp in one of these tanks, hopefully not taking out too many of those urchins. There's some beautiful clownfish pairs in here. See some nice platinums there, some nice Picassos, and some different markings in there. Then if we come across over to this system, you see a whole heap of redline cleaner shrimp. Now these guys are in the jars for good reason. I didn't notice it at first, but then someone from the team pointed out that there is a nice little zebra shark in this system here, a nice little juvenile that apparently Ken tells me was shipped to them as an egg, and it hatched in shipping. So actually was sold to them as an egg and arrived in the bag as a little baby shark, which is pretty cool. And here he is out and about, super curious and interactive little creature. Absolutely love seeing things like this. It's not something you see in everybody's tank, so getting the opportunity to see these things at your local fish shop hopefully just keeps the curiosity at bay and stops me from adding a shark to my tank. But I do love seeing them nonetheless. Now, panning across here, there are some great Rhodactis and some equally fantastic Recordia in this system. Obviously a whole heap of Banggai Cardinals as well, and a number of Frosted Roses bubble tips in here. But if you've got the time to pick through this system, you'll find some ridiculously nice Recordia at equally ridiculously good prices. I think they were $100 Australian each, which for those of you, these are Recordia we find in Australia, not the Florida Recordia, so they are a little bit different to what you get overseas. Now, continuing on in this system here, we've got a nice sail fin. You can see all the prices of the fish up on here. They've even got their barcode, so the team can scan them and continue on bagging fish up for you as you go. But there is also a heap of corals that we will get an opportunity to have a good look at. In fact, you can see this end here, we've got a heap of zoas here, all aquacultured zoas, all lined up in their different types, and the names of them down the bottom with the prices. excellent to see. And tell you what, there's a splash of color in this system, including some very well-priced Montipora. And if you have a look here, $25 Australian for these Montipora along here. And I'll put the camera in the water so you can actually have a look at them, because there's some stunning pieces in here. Look at the different colors in here. You've got greens, you've got golds, you've got reverses, you've got cookies and creams, you've got Supermans, you've got all sorts of Montipora in there for $25 a piece, which is nice to see. And then over here you can see some of those beautiful Scollies, Bowers, some big Acans, Cephastreas in there, some Chalice, all sorts happening in this system. Really nice aquacultured pieces, and a little bit of a closer look at some of those Zoas, because there's some bright colors in these pieces. I got to say, I am well out of touch when it comes to the names of all the Zoas, but they look fantastic. Look at the speckles on them. Such a huge assortment of colors, and you can set up a garden of Zoas so quickly. In fact, some of these pieces you can see look like they've got some dragon's breath macroalgae on them, so a little bit of a desirable hitchhiker there. Look at the gold speckles on them. Very, very nice pieces indeed. And there's some nice, yeah, really nice color. Look at the frill extension there. That one, I think that one there's an Adonis, the single polyp. Plenty of nice ones there, though, that are much, much cheaper than the Adonis. And we'll continue on, because speaking of cheap corals, you can see there is some nice softies in here, some gonies as well. Nice little assortment of leather frags, which is not something you see too often. And these Acans in here at $35 a piece are very nice. Look at the blue on that one there. Some great rainbow ones in there for that sort of pricing, which is... I tell you what, the team have been very generous there. Even with the Blastos, they've put a price across the lot of them, $50 a piece for the Blastos, regardless of the colors and markings. So if you take your time and pick through there, you're going to find some very nice pieces at a very, very fair price. But I'll grab the DSLR before we move on to the next tank so we can have a look at some of these leathers, because if you haven't heard, I am building a soft coral display tank. And when I see leather frags, it gets me very, very excited at the moment, because typically leathers come in very large pieces, and this is only a 2-foot system that I'm putting together. So I like to see small leathers of all sorts of different varieties, but I was quickly drawn to these gonies. Look at the gold splash through that one, and then have a look at just how red this piece is up in the back here. Very, very fine little polyp extension on it, which is nice to see. But we must continue on, because over here, what I first thought was an SPS right there is a branching turbinaria, which I absolutely love. I think that's Hero turbinaria. Super, super cool. In fact, there's a couple of pieces of it in there. There's another one up the back there, as well as some wild collected SPS. And if we continue on, I just let some customers go behind me. This system here has some Chalice, and this one here, whoo-wee, that's pretty. I'll just grab the DSLR so you can get a good look at the colors. Look at that. Gold with yellow, red, blue and green stripes through it, even some pink stripes in it too. And just to show you this two-tone green next to it for contrast, what a duo those two pieces make. Such bright colors there. Very, very nice indeed. And then you've got plenty of other nice pieces in here, but if you do like gold Chalice, which clearly I do at the moment, have a look at this one as well. Another stunning piece. I'll grab the DSLR so you can see it. This one, pure gold with just some red or maroon with a bit of purple splashing through it as well. Very, very nice indeed. Now, we do need to keep tracking along, because there's heaps more to see. We've got fish over here. You can see a nice marginal butterfly there. You've got some golden nugget clowns. Over here, you've got some beautiful platinum clowns. Very nice markings on those ones indeed. Some tangs in there. You've got some more butterflies. You've got the scribble angel. Stunning fish in there. Nice narso tangs. Some damsels or angels as well. Across here in this system, when my camera focuses, you'll see we've got some gorgeous fish. In fact, I nearly missed the fish in this system here, and thankfully I came back later when it was feeding time so I could see this gorgeous little baby marine beta. Here he comes out for a bit of food. Oh man, I love those fish. Mine has finally become sociable in my tank, and I got to say it's probably one of my favorite fish in the system now. Seeing it swim around proudly all day is an absolute joy in my system. So seeing this little juvenile hiding out on that pipe and then coming out to feed was an absolute moment, and I'm so glad I was there to capture that on footage. Such a unique fish in the marine world. Just nothing else looks like them. Got the markings of a gem tang in a completely different body and swim pattern, and they look huge huge, but it's 95% fin. The bodies are quite small on them. Okay, continuing on and back to look at the side of that display tank, and you can see the polyp extension of that spider sponge, all that white on there. I believe that's actually 2 components in the spider sponge, which is super intriguing, and I must admit I don't know a lot about it. But here's something I do know a little bit more about, and that is some corals in these systems here. We've got some nice frog spawns, Trachyphilias, some scollies in here, some very nice pieces indeed, and I can see quite a nice little assortment of scollies in there, which is nice to see today. We don't see a lot of scollies anymore. You can see the store is starting to get busy, just like I feared, so we will skip that row of fish in down there because there's quite a few customers, but I did pop back a little bit later with my camera to get some footage of the best ones in here, and this guy I absolutely love. The Fu Manchu lionfish here. Look at that big mustache coming off him. Absolutely love it. Such a fish that's got a lot of character, a lot of personality. You also got a beautiful ballast angel in there. Nice to see those beautiful colors and markings. Gorgeous, gorgeous fish indeed. And I'm glad I came back to film that tank because there's some really nice fish in there. Now, continuing on, I can get down the next aisle, the one next to this beautiful blue tang display. And in this system here, we've got some blue tangs, ones that aren't in the display tank. Also got some clownfish back there. Got this beautiful stars and stripes puffer here. Another fish that has a huge personality. Powder blues, some more clownfish. Up the end here, a beautiful trigger. Look at this guy. I do love their swim pattern. Stunning, stunning fish. Heading on over this way, we've got some more triggers. You've got blue throat triggers, you've got powder blues, you've got some more blues, unicorns, Desjardinis, and of course customers looking to get into these tanks, which is completely understandable. I'll head up this way where we can check out some ridiculously nice Deshies and Cynarias. In fact, I'll grab the DSLR so we can really take in the colors of these Deshies. Have a look at these. Absolutely stunners. Look at it just jiggling in the flow there. I do love the way they just put a little dance on like that. You can see why they're called a meat coral, because it just looks like one big slab of meat when you see it do that. This one next to it, equally some stunning color. And then there's another one in the system which has some beautiful colors too. Look at this, the reds, the blues in a speckle formation. Quite nice indeed. But there are some more corals in this system, and just looking across, you can see more Deshies, Blastos in there. Also got some Acans up the back. There is that system over to the left there, which is just guarded at the moment, but I did come back a second later with the DSLR, and here we have the beautiful hammers in there. Look how tight the anchors on that one are. Stunning, stunning piece. And then you come at the back here to a nice gold piece. Nice size too, I will say. It's got good color, good health, beautiful size. We come across to a beautiful green hammer here. Nice smaller piece, this one, but equally as healthy. And then this reverse has got plenty of color in it too. The green is super, super toxic in there. Purple just gives it that nice splash of contrast. And then we come down to some torch. So you can see this beautiful Hulk green torch there, looking a treat. Good polyp extension on it, I will say. Then you come across to this one here, which just shows a little bit of variation in color there. You can see this one's got a little bit more of a greeny gold color to it than the green. And then you go into the full-blown gold here that you can see. This one's got the gold on one side, purple on the other. And this one is much like that one. There's also in this system, and I'll take the camera there now, this big showpiece reverse frog spawn that I absolutely love. Plenty of green and purple on that. And I did also mention that there were some acants in this system, and this piece here, unfortunately it did just close up. It got fed just before I got the camera on it. When it was fully open, you could see the polyps showcasing all of the colors on there. And here's a good look at some of those scollies in that system as well. So plenty of corals on hand, even more out the back that the team from Apex Aquatic were using to restock when pieces sold. Have a look at this massive elegance back here. This is a huge piece, much bigger than a football, and it's not even fully open. So heaps of stock on hand. You can see people rolling through the door now, making their selections and purchases. But there's one more fish tank that has some marines here, and you can see the signs clearly indicating this is the marine side of the store. And this is a tank that is for sale. All the fish here are not display, including this mystery wrasse, which I've not seen a mystery wrasse for some time, I have to admit. It's been a while since I've seen one. There's also gem tangs in there, but I was super pleased to see how happy and free swimming this mystery wrasse was. Obviously with the name mystery, they can be a little bit secluded and a bit shy. that guy was out swimming around with all of those fairly boisterous fish, and looked an absolute treat, particularly up against that gem tang there. So I was very tempted on him, and there's some very nice anthias in there too. Nearly brought that mystery wrasse home, but I do need to sort out my issue with the chromis first, or I think they'd have him pegged down. But let's move on over to the freshwater side of things, and I've got to say I do love this display tank at the front here. It's got, there's Jack, store manager there, goes past, very busy man on today and tomorrow. But let's just take the filter off the camera so we can really take in the colors of this system, because it's got some beautiful color. Look at the green on that there. More customers making their way through. But I got to say, the light on this, the Chihirios light, really does something for these fish in here. Here it is here, the Chihirios Aquatic Studio light. Really looks like a metal halide over this tank. The colors it gets on those neon tetras is ridiculous. Absolutely love it. But we'll do a little bit of a lap around. Look at the feeding frenzy going on in this system here. Those fish are going berserk for it. I'm not going to go through and name each one of the fish in here. You can see they are put up on the screen there. We've got some platies and things in here. And the color variety of these fish, absolutely fantastic. But the main reason why I'm not naming them is because I don't know them all. Obviously, these guys are a clown loach, a fairly common fish, and you can see that they do put the names and prices up on the tags there. Staff very busy answering all of the customers' questions, but we'll head around the corner and check out some other stuff. You can even see some dry goods in this room here, even though there is an entire dry goods room. We've got some locals here, Arj and Elias, checking out the grand opening. We do have that marine display tank, which we'll get back to in just a second, but I just wanted to have a quick look at this beautiful plant system. Look at the mist and the fog coming out of it, the water dripping through, multi-tiered level system going on. I don't know what it is about this. It's not a display tank, and it's not even marine. It's freshwater, and it's a freshwater plant sail tank, but something about it I absolutely love. I think it's the peaceful noise of the water dripping through, all of the different color of the plants in there. And in fact, I even grabbed my DSLR out to get a bit of footage of this tank because, like I said, something about the colors of it just really triggered that little freshwater seed that's planted well within me that I just haven't quite managed to get growing yet. But things like this definitely get me close. But I did promise we'd come back to that marine display tank here. This one is an absolute treat. And then you can see here they're utilizing the motorized clothesline, which is designed to go in your laundry and hang things like your sheets on after you've washed them. But the team are using it here as a motorized light frame. Very, very clever. Buy it off the shelf and screw it onto the roof and off you go. So you can see in this system here, they've got a great assortment of corals, some trackies, helios. You've got bubble corals. Have a look at the Japanese swallowtails there. You've got some nice lobos and chalice, hammers, acros, ridiculously bright scollies there. Those recordias look nice. Have a look at the scollies though. The brightness on these pieces almost put the other corals to shame there. They are so, so bright, and every single piece in this tank is a showpiece. So when you have something that's outshining other corals that brightly, it's pretty crazy. And heading across here, you can see there's gonioporas, there's frog spawns, there's hammers, there's deshies. We've got acros. We've even got a number of clams, one up in the rock there, one big one down here on the base. Gorgeous, gorgeous piece indeed. And then you've got a whole heap of frags. There's that golden hawk that has been a little bit of a terror in this tank, but it looks like he might be starting to chill out a little bit. And I do love the way the guys have got a fully exposed filtration on this system here, so you can really showcase to the customers the difference between a freshwater system and a marine system, showing the Deltex skimmer here and the absolute filthy gunk it's pulling out. That is some dirty, dirty skimmate, and a great testament to the Deltex skimmer. But I did just grab the DSLR out so we could get a little bit of footage of some of the fish in here from the Zoster's butterfly here. A little bit similar to the pyramid, but obviously has the black through a little splash of yellow just on top of the white band there. Super, super cool fish that is predominantly reef safe. You've got the Japanese swallowtail angel there. That's a gorgeous fish. I mean, it does come with a price tag, but whew, man, that's a pretty angel, and he's nice and chunky too, I gotta say. You got some beautiful anthias in there. Here is the golden hawk that has just moved over to the other side of the tank to perch himself up on that staghorn SBS there. Very nice to see. What other fish can I find? We've got that nice Naso tang there. There's powder blue. There's a Des Jardini. Look at the colors and spotting on the face of him. Gorgeous fish. Looks like the Zosters absolutely loves the camera. Here's some of that big clam on the base, and what a beautiful piece it is. There's a mustard tang in the background there. gorgeous array of fish, even powder blue swimming around. So this system's fairly young, I will say, and it has really matured very, very quickly, which is no easy feat when you've got this range of corals. Another quick look at the colors. Look at the gold through that scolly at the back there. In fact, the one on the front left is almost breaking the saturation on the camera. It's too bright. It's crazy, crazy stuff indeed. But we must continue on. I did say we'd be on the freshwater side now, so let's have a little look through here and see if we can pick out some freshwater fish and maybe even some freshwater plants. You can see there is heaps and heaps of tanks in here. The freshwater section really snakes through and takes up all of this space through here. You can see these plants just growing out of the tank, adding to the filtration. There is another display here. This one I think is a 5 by 5 foot. I was going to say cube. It's not 5 foot tall though, but a 5 by 5 rectangle with all of these. I'm going to say they're angelfish in here based on what I know next to nothing on freshwater fish, but very pretty fish in there. And that system is massive. See some fans there walking past, big smiles for the camera, which is always nice to see. Plenty of cichlids in as well. Just let some more customers through there. Cichlids of all different sizes, species, colors, of course. And you see the team there busy collecting some for people on the day. Looks like a young aquatic enthusiast there, very much enjoying the fish that he's picked out. We'll just scoot on past these customers here so we can have a look at the fish up around the corner here. And you can see there's even another display tank here. I quite like this one. It's very, very tall, and the plants are allowed to just grow right from the base up, and it gives a very different perspective. Lit up by a couple of kessels, which I got to say, the freshwater kessels do look an absolute treat. They're very different from other freshwater lights on the market. Just give a very different perspective. But there's some more signs here. This one here telling you this is the beta rack, and all the betas are put in these systems where they can see through to the other betas, which keeps them very enthusiastic, I will say. Always flared up looking at each other. And through here, plenty more freshwater fish. You can have a little sneak peek over the divider there to see the marine side is, it's getting busy in store. I probably should have started filming a touch earlier, but that's okay. That's what happens on a grand opening weekend. Lots of people come, and us YouTubers have to deal with that. Check out this big dude up here. This is the Chili Oscar, I believe, and this guy, he's a big angry looking fish, but he does like to pose for the camera, so I'm always happy to take a moment to give him his 15 seconds. And there's also some beautiful goldfish in here. I think these are ranchus. Yep. And these are some high-end goldfish, and I gotta say they're an acquired taste. You either love them or you hate them, but those big bubbly faces with that sort of hunchback, I don't know if it's for me, but that's okay. I recognize that there are all sorts of different tastes in this hobby, and that's what makes it go round. And I can see out the back through this big window the filter room. It's obviously not open to the public this weekend, but I did manage to get my foot in the door and just pop out, because there's a couple of things I wanted to show here, including these massive commercial size rolls of filter floss, and then the pallet here of Red Sea Coral Pro Salt, and then the mixing station that the team have here. So they've got a massive RO system, mixing drum here on the left with some pumps that can mix it and also distribute it. You've got the mixing one on the left, then you've got a couple of those two sand colored containers are for RO water. You then move on to a couple for some hyposalinity, which is obviously for your fish systems. And then the ones on the right there are your standard 1.025 specific gravity, which is for obviously all of your coral systems and your display tanks. So the team mixing up a lot of Red Sea salt there to make sure that their tanks have got nothing but the best. Now, back out into our sail room, you can see it is definitely getting busy along here. I'll have a quick look at some of the fish along here while it's freed up a little bit. You can see some gorgeous swordtails in here, and these have got massively long swords on them. Really nice assortment of colors as well. So great assortment of freshwater fish, even when I have absolutely no idea about them, but I can tell you they look nice. And see, everyone is enjoying all of the stock here, and plenty of staff on hand to help everyone that has any sort of questions with anything at all. Now, heading on through to the dry goods room, which I say if you could see me with inverted commas, because there's a lot of livestock in this dry goods room. And one of the first things I want to show you is this beautiful discus tank here that has this massive vine, I think it is, growing from a bit of driftwood that goes right up to the ceiling here. And I got to say, that goes a good 10 feet in the air. Gives this tank a completely different perspective, and the discus in here well, I was going to say they seem to be loving it. It's always hard to tell with discus. They've got a pretty sulky look on their face, but these guys have got some stunning colors and got really nice health. The camera did sort of struggle to showcase their colors here, but I can tell you if you saw them in person, they were beautiful looking fish. Now, heading on over, because plenty more to see. There was a coffee cart in this dry goods room here, which is always nice. And of course, a hardscape section as well with all sorts of different rocks, substrates, and of course vines and woods, driftwoods and things for your freshwater setups. The coffee cart was very, very busy. A lot of people with coffee cups in their hand. Here's Arj working with some customers from Tasmania that made the trip all the way over to check out the Apex Aquatic's grand opening. Also have this other display tank over here, which also has the vines going up to the ceiling, but you can see Red Sea, Aquaforest products there discounted. Also have API ones there as well. So heaps and heaps of dry goods on hand for the day. But this display tank here I want to showcase to you because it's got some freshwater stingrays in there that Ken tells me are 1 month old to the day. They just turned 1 month old, and I gotta say, man, these things grow fast. They're pretty big for a month old, that is for sure. But we'll continue on because I did say there was a heap of livestock in here, and it's not just those 2 display tanks. You can see all of these tanks through the middle here are not displays. These are all available for sale, and you can see you go from paludariums to little freshwater planted displays to just straight freshwater fish tanks, even marine ones on the other side. They are all available for sale, and you can see the price tags written as they sit. So everything from the equipment to the livestock, everything in there has a price on it. So if you walk in this room and you get inspired and you say, I want this tank, you can see every single thing you get with it for that price, which is a good idea. It's one thing to have display tanks in a local fish shop, but then to have the ability for the customer to pick that display tank up and take it home is super, super cool. All right, heading on over to have a look at some of the other dry goods here. You can see massive wall of Seachem products there, Dimax as well. Customers taking their time looking through all of the dry goods there. Big commercial freezer with all of your freshwater foods there. And then we come across into some more of these beautiful paludariums that this one here has been here since I came in for that initial sneak peek. And I got to say, I still absolutely love it. It has this sort of archway of rock along the top there, which allows for a mister to spray down, and you can see obviously the fog machine in there as well, creating this cool little surface level fog that you can blow out like the candles like that, and I absolutely love doing that. You see how quickly that fog comes back. Super, super cool. You see the freshwater fish down here living their best life, the scape and the plants above that just living a treat, and I even brought the DSLR out here so you can get a good cinematic look at this tank because I don't know, it's so small yet so pretty, and it's been scaped very, very well. And again, I love blowing out the candles. It is actually my birthday pretty soon, so I'm just getting in good practice of blowing out the candles. But continuing on, we're going to check out the huge number of giveaways. 13 prize packs the team at Apex Aquatic have got, and you can see here, first one's worth $2,300, and basically for every $50 spent, you get a ticket. Put your name and number on the ticket, put it in the box that you want to win the prize of. This one here, $1,200 worth, one of those beautiful Kessel freshwater lights with a mount and a Wi-Fi dongle. Heading on over to some paludariums and credit for plants, a UNS system, a freshwater system, a bit like my brand new reef tank, and $200 credit on some hardscaping. Come across to a waterbox 10-gallon nano with everything you need to set that guy up. Nice little nano reef system, another nano reef system. This one, the 15-gallon Peninsula with a Kessel A80. Great setup there. Heading across into some reef-ready box here with Dr. Tim, some Vitalis things in there. Deltex skimmer. Across to a Fluval Flex. Man, I'm struggling to keep up here. Then you get to a Cade River 900, $1,600 tank right there. A Waterbox Cube 20 with a matching stand. Quite well priced, I will say it's $775, and then onto a Lush River Aquascaper. I was fortunate enough to be there on site when the team were drawing out all of the winners, so if you got contacted, you would have won one of those prizes. You should be aware of that by now, but moving on from the prizes, things you can buy on the day, you can see this huge library-inspired wall there of dry goods. Absolutely love the way that's set out, and a lot of them out of the box so you can see how they look and whether it's going to fit. And then we come across into some more systems. This one here has got me intrigued with these little knobs on the back here. I think that's so you can secure things to it, maybe for plants or things to grow on. I absolutely have no idea. I should ask the team when they're a little less busy. We've got a couple of marine systems there completely ready to go with prices on them, which is, again, a nice touch. Then we head on to some pond supplies there and some canister filters, things like that. Some more marine systems ready to go here, and then even more freshwater systems as well. So you can see now why I say the dry goods room with inverted commas, because there's an awful lot of livestock in here. You can see heaps of Vitalis foods, Aquaforest foods there. Another quick look at these discus here, because that bright red one's just staring at me now. And another bit of a look at all of the dry goods up on the back wall, the scaping products. Okay, as we make our way back out to the front of the store, you can see things are heating up already. It's a massive, massive weekend for Apex Aquatic. In fact, I think on the Saturday alone, Ken said there were 600 different people through the doors, which is incredible to see. Some people say that this hobby is in a little bit of a tough patch at the moment with the cost of living that we're going through here in Australia, but to see 600 unique people through the door on one day of trading is ridiculous and very, very cool to see. Massive, massive shout out to the whole Apex Aquatic team, who obviously put in the work to get the store to this point in time, but then also turned up on the day to make sure that everyone that came had a wonderful time, myself included. And I gotta say, it was awesome to see so many people through the door, and also to see so many people out there that watch the YouTube channel. You can see everyone here enjoying all of the sights to be had, from the shark tank to the display tanks to all of the sale items. And it was awesome to see staff like Jack here giving great advice to people looking to set up brand new fish tanks, or even maybe convincing them onto a reef tank, which is super, super cool. Now, one last thing before I wrap things up, I want to give one final shout out to the store owner, the man behind it all, the guy here grabbing a coffee and some chips. Ken's a big fan of Parker's Reefs and did invite me along on the day, and I really appreciate it. All right, guys, there you have it. That is the magic that was the grand opening weekend of Apex Aquatic. And I gotta say, what an incredible event it was, from things like food trucks with barbecue meats that were very, very delicious, through to coffee stalls there. Of course, the huge amount of stock and discounted prices they had for the weekend. And then you have those 13 prize packs where, thankfully, I got to be involved in the drawing of those, to see 13 people's day get made in getting these incredible prize packs that were put together to suit all ranges of the hobby, which was super, super cool. And it also gave people the opportunity to pick which prize they wanted to go for, so they won something that was relevant to them, rather than just winning some prize pack that they would then offload on Facebook Marketplace later. So well done to Apex Aquatics. You put on an incredible event, and I've got to say, I had an absolute ball. My favorite part was getting to see so many of you, the viewer out there, in person. So many people I've not met before, or maybe met once before years ago at something like Underwater Pet Expo, and getting to chat to you about your reef tank was an absolute highlight for me over the weekend. Now, I will wrap things up there, but I do want to give a massive shout out to these names on screen here. These are my channel members who chip in a couple of dollars each and every month to make it possible for me to get out and about around this country and film all of these events so that I can share it with you guys right here on YouTube. So massive thank you to all of those names there. And to everyone else, if you are yet to subscribe, and by my stats, it says somewhere between 40 to 50% of you watching this channel are not subscribed, please consider doing so. It takes 2 seconds of your time and does not cost a cent now, tomorrow, or ever. There is a subscribe button in the bottom corner there. All that will do is tell you when I release a video, and it'll also tell YouTube that you think this is good content, and will help recommend these videos to more reefers out there, which would be a massive help to me and the channel. I will wrap things up there though, guys. I've got so much content to come for you in the coming weeks, from a review of the brand new Kamoa tiny little automated alkalinity tester and doser, through to a brand new product from a local creator here in Melbourne that I'm going to need your help in coming up with a name for, all the way through to some incredible reefers tanks that we have visited over 12 months ago, and I'm going to go and visit them again to see how their tank is going. And sneak peek, they're going incredibly well. So stay tuned for all of those videos to come in the coming weeks. And of course, Don't forget, we also have my brand new reef tank that is getting set up at Deer Park Aquarium, and you guys can follow along the journey from start to finish of that reef tank, and also come in person and check it out in store. Anyway guys, I did say I would wrap things up there, so I will. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, stay safe, keep reefing. Cheers, bye.
Yeah, right. I hate these balloons.